what's on TV.
Welcome to G5 News.
Justin, we are now finding out that gender is how a person identifies, which does not always align with their biological sex. This discovery is fairly new, and not all people are aware. Thank you for tuning in tonight, folks. Here at G5 News, we bring you the latest and greatest news before anyone else. Since the 1970s, there has been little distinction between sex and gender, and the two generally get mixed up. This creates a false binary that there are only two genders. Gender is now being found to be the way in which a person identifies themselves. Zimmerman states that gender was an achieved status that which is constructed through psychological, cultural, and social means. We have a special guest with here to talk about their experience being pregnant and the constant gender questions. Thank you for joining us, Zoe. Please tell us about your experiences bringing a child into the world.
Thank you for having me. I don't yet know the gender of my baby, but we're finding out this weekend at our gender reveal party.
Oh, wow. Well, you know that gender is the way that a person chooses to identify as. This is not the same as their biological sex. So really, the party you're having is more accurately called a biological sex party. But make sure on your invitations not to leave out the word biological, otherwise you may have some unexpected guests.
Oh wow, I didn't realize the terms gender and sex didn't mean the same thing. Thanks for teaching me something new.
Definitely. Thank you for talking with me. Now we are going to be discussing the meaning of gender and how it has changed over time. In order to do so, we must talk to a few guests that can tell us more about their stance on the meaning of gender. To do this, we are going to take a trip back in time to see firsthand how gender and sexuality has changed.
This way to the time machine.
Thank you for joining us, Freud. What year is this?
The year is 1920. Thanks for the visit.
We are wondering a little about your beliefs about gender in the early 1900s. Could you please tell us a little about what your definition of gender is?
Well, in this classical period, we believe that the penis is central to everyone's psychological gender and sexuality. I believe that there is only one genital for both a boy and a girl until puberty, and that the psychology of women is driven by the penis. I call this penis envy.
That is very interesting. I'm glad we can meet so we can all have a better understanding of what gender meant at this time. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. I hope you visit again.
Next, we need to take a look at another point of view. We are going to jump a bit forward to the year 1970. Hello, thank you for meeting with me today. Can you please introduce yourself to our viewers?
Oh hi, I'm Karen Horneye. Viewers, what are they?
They are outside the television watching from home. We just had a chat with Freud, and we were wondering if you could tell us a little about your concept of gender.
Oh well, of course I can. I don't agree with Freud's views. I believe that sex is biological, and gender is based off of identified sex roles. Socially, men and women have different roles in society, and that is where gender plays a part. I think at the beginning of every new sexual function, this phase is reactivated and has to be overcome every time before a feminine attitude can be attained. This is called womb envy.
I see. So you notice that sex is biological, and gender is more discovered internally.
Why yes, exactly. Gender is a societal necessity.
Well, thank you for joining us. It was a pleasure talking with you. We must keep moving into the 1990s. Now joining us, we have Judith Butler. She's the philosopher that wrote Gender Trouble in 1990.
Yes, I believe that if sex is biological, then gender is a cultural construct, meaning that gender is a performance. It's something that we do and act out over and over again in our everyday lives.
In psychology today, we are looking at the work of Zimmerman. He states that gender was an achieved status, that which is constructed through the psychological, cultural, and social means. This is an extension of your belief, correct?
Yes, that is along the same lines as my beliefs. What do you think about gender during this time period?
Well, men are higher paid and in more positions of power, whereas women are in more nurturing positions such as teachers or nurses. I believe that both men and women should be able to seek out jobs and be paid equally. Let's look at some common sex role stereotypes for men and women at this time.
Oh, hey, honey, I'm home. Is dinner ready? There's my hard-working man. Of course dinner's ready. Have a seat.
How was your day today?
Oh, my day, it was good. I did the laundry, I ironed your shirts, and I even made dinner. How was your day?
Oh, I got a raise. Some woman wanted the job, but that's not woman's work.
Aw, how sweet. Heterosexual love. Throughout my travels today, I learned quite a bit about gender and the historical views that shaped what we know about gender today. When talking to the people I visited, I realized that a lot of the information aligned with different theories that can be used to better understand gender. For example, the social learning theory, which relates because gender and different beliefs associated with gender have been learned and socially constructed through positive and negative reinforcement from our peers and parents and such. The other theory is social cognitive theory, which explains that we learn about gender through what we observe from our experiences and social interactions, which can explain why so many people view gender and sex as the same thing, and that is because we've observed the terms being used the same throughout our lives. We have also learned that gender is a social construct and that most people tend to mix up terms gender and sex. The term gender is used to divide up the world and make sense of it, and this is because humans like to label things. We also know that although other genders have existed for a really long time, a lot of people still believe that there is false binary in which you are either male or female. In reality, though, there are many genders, and the terms for these other genders, as well as the terms for non-heterosexual sexual orientations, came across in the mid-20th century. Therefore, a lot of science that historically was about sex talks about it and gender as being the same thing. Higher education today, though, teaches that sex, gender identity, gender expression, and sexual orientation are distinguished to be 4 different components of sexual identity. Higher education also teaches that these 4 categories help to create an interactive, fluid, and non-binary relationship, which helps to discuss gender as well as sexuality in a complex and distinctive way that adds room for agency and self-determination. Since higher education recognizes genderism or sexism, then it means that science's concept of gender has much improved while the public's views on gender still need to improve greatly. The main reason that this public's view is very controversial towards gender and whether or not the genders exist is because it's politically charged concept. It is politically charged because it has been part of the power relations between men and women. Back in the 1970s, the interest in gender as an academic concept came about as a result of the rebirth of feminism and was a political movement that was used to help women gain equality with men. And because of this term, gender still holds political significance. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for joining me at G5 News.